because culturally and traditionally, we all know that a woman is not supposed to speak.
She's seen and
not heard.
That was what it was.
Well, I think we still have that ongoing because in some places, like you said, because we still have a lot of leadership positions where, like for instance now, can we ever have a female president?
I think we can.
I think we can.
I
but
think
do we have anybody who can actually, any female who can actually stand up, who has the wherewithal? Because we know there are a number of countries, even here in Africa, that
Liberia,
have female presidents.
Malawi, and remember, when a woman is called to serve, that sacrifice is there. And you know, Mandela showed us that it's not about, big grammar. It's all about sacrifice. And here you have the Malawian president giving up her national carrier, the airplane, so that she can feed the poor. And the British minister had to send a plane to pick her when they had a World Economic, a gathering recently. So she was really appreciated for that. Look at the mayor of Bangui, who's just been elected as president-elect for the Central African Republic.
Yeah, she was at the Davos meeting.
She has a great job to do, but I think a woman is capable of bringing a nation out of strife into a recovery phase and then into a growth phase. A woman has that skill because she has she can multitask. She's a caregiver by nature, and she is also a leader. You just call the man the head of the home, but if you look deeply into virtually every household, the oiling, the greasing, getting the supplies flowing, the food coming out in time, the kids getting to school in time, even the spouse going about his business with peace of mind, it is the function of the woman.
But that's her job, that's her role, which is the reason why they feel that she should continue in that role and she shouldn't step out of it to try to do anything extra.
She can do more. She's capable of doing more. And very soon, I hope we're with Helen Clark in the UN. We should have a woman driving the UN. We have a woman CEO at General Motors. We have a woman at the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the US now. You have a woman at the helm of affairs. So we are having more women all over the world in leadership positions. Nigeria should not be different. You're talking about a president. What about even a governor? Now, talking about quotas, is there a movement or some kind of pressure we can give to governors? Every deputy governor position, can we have it reserved for women? We have that in the Southwest, and it has worked very well.
But how many?
We have that all over the nation?
I want to add to what she's saying.
Okay.
Part of the gap in political leadership for women comes down to structure.
Yep.
Every man in a political position has a retinue, a network, a structure on which he stands, actually, right? So you can't wake up and overnight become some kind of political leader or have political relevance. So women too need to begin to identify who are those they want to put forward and begin to garner grassroots support for those women and begin to watch them build their political careers. I mean, having a black president in America didn't happen overnight. Exactly. And if you look at Obama's history, he has a long and very interesting political history. So, these things need to be done as well, right? And we need to begin to grow that. And that essentially right now is lacking. What is happening now with our women political leaders is that the men are being convinced to put forward that token person. And of course, they give her that name that I hate, woman leader. No, we're not looking for women leaders. We're looking for women who are leaders of people, whether they are men or women, not woman leader. That's what we need at this point.
Okay, so back to that point you made, Fayo, that every governor should try to, every state should insist that the deputy governor should be female. What if they don't have anyone who is strong enough to put her best foot forward? Because you see, it takes more than knowing how to run your home, to run a community, not just a community, but to run a state, because you're going to be giving your own input, which the governor, as much as possible, when he's making his decision, is going to try to put in, so that it doesn't seem as if he's running it. It's not a tyrannical kind of government. Yes. So if she is not financially savvy, because you see, the woman as much as possible, knows how to guard the strings of the purse. So it's very important that whatever financial decision that the governor decides to take, if he has a deputy who's a woman, he gets her opinion, and she should be able to give him sound information as regards how economic policies can be, can be made, and how it can run in such a way that it will positively affect everybody.
A woman is in a good position to give financial information and advice. I'll tell you why. For instance, for years now, we have women who've risen, even in the past, as Iyalode. They are traders. They command a lot of, a lot of produce, a lot of commerce has gone through their hands. At the home, in the home, financial literacy is taught by the women to the children, learn to save, learn to budget, this and that. So women are, that is a good role, a very, very natural role for them to fill. And I'll just give another example. I'm sure I've said this one, so I hope I won't be boring. A professional group, recently, they were trying to choose a candidate out of 3, 2 men and a woman, to put forward for president of that particular professional group. And there was this woman who was reputed that when she was treasurer, she was able to deliver a 12-month account, very unlike her male counterparts who normally deliver an 11-month account, and then there are certain issues towards the last month. But it was felt, her tenure may be a bit tight-fisted, bracket prudent, not with waste. And it would not be business as usual. So because of that, this woman was not really put forward as the president of that particular professional group. So my question is, why do men shy away from a manager who is prudent, pragmatic, like Angela Merkel in Germany, who's reputed to be strong and very, very prudent, managing their resources very well? Why do they shy away from that?
Well, we're going to have, she should have taken over by now, Janet Yellen. She's going to be the next U.S. Fed Reserve chairman.
That's right.
And a lot of people are actually looking forward to seeing what she's going to do. Because Ben Bernanke actually put in a lot of policies that managed to keep the U.S. Fed Reserve, where it should be, and the U.S. economy where it should be. And so, yes.
Especially after the meltdown.
Exactly. A lot of responsibilities. And so sometimes they feel that women can't actually handle the enormity of such responsibility.
Sometimes I think I have to bring us back home, because as we're speaking and the public is listening, we keep calling names in America, in Germany. Let's bring it back home. It took the likes of our dear Minister of Finance, Okonjo-Iweala, to get Nigeria to the point where it paid off its debts.
That's right.
It took a woman to do it. Up to that point, everybody thought it was impossible to take us the next, God knows, not my lifetime, to pay back our debts. A woman came and she did it. So I'm trying to say that even here in Nigeria, we have a lot of model examples of women who have done what was impossible for men to achieve.
Don't have enough.
We had the head of
NDDC. Yes, she's doing a lot of projects right now.
And the Ministry of Technology as well.
Food and NAFDAC.
Yes.
So who knew what was NAFDAC until Akunyili got there? And suddenly, the man in the street, one day I was so surprised. My maid had malaria, and I was saying, please, go and get your malaria drugs. And I said, remember, she said, Madam, don't tell me, I will check the NAFDAC number.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? And that's how effective they have been.
Okay, so as we were on the home stretch now, we just have about 1 minute to wrap up the show today. What policies and practices should we put in place to transform the economic landscape for women? Let's just quickly do that in 1 minute or less.
I would like compulsory education for the girl child, and I would like the issue of early marriage is looked into, so that we can actually prevent early marriage, maybe not like up to the age of, I think 18 is too young. I think it should be about 20 or 21, honestly, so that the girl child will be equipped, and then she can contribute economically, socially, and politically.
Turkey.
I think in addition to what Fayo has said, I think I want to advocate for some of the things that the NGOs are fighting for now. WinBase is fighting for more women on boards. Okay. So we need to have more women in leadership positions. You find that in many, many organizations, particularly successful organizations, the population of women at the bottom of the ladder is much larger than those at the top. Somewhere in the middle they disappear. And what causes them to disappear are their obligations to family. So I'd like to see more of that. So I'd like to see organizations take up policies that make it easier for women to contribute. Flexi hours at work, for example, a creche nearby so they have their children nearby, you know, ease of entry back into the workplace if you decided to leave.
Okay, well, you've said most of it because distractions, we didn't talk much about that, but I know that this isn't the end of the conversation. We're still going to have this conversation again, but thank you so much, Toki and Fayo, for coming on the program this morning. It's been quite interesting.
Thank you.
Well, I've been speaking with Toki Mabukunje. She's a development consultant and the principal partner of Toki Mabukunje and Company, as well as a vice president of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Fayo Williams, the first vice president, NECA's Networks of Entrepreneurial Women. And we've been looking at how we can achieve gender-driven economic growth. It's been an interesting conversation. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm Harriet Agbeni.